Okay, this person said, I'm assuming this is a wife, but yeah, I'm just assuming, I guess. Okay, it says, I'm busy making memories with my kids. This is why my house is a mess. And this is what my friend tells me. I struggle because I want to be a good, yeah, okay. I struggle because I want to be a good mom and play and want to be a good housekeeper. How do I find the balance? So that's kind of not elegant, but if somebody is saying, hey, my house is destroyed, but that's because I have a family and making memories with my kids, and I'm assuming maybe a husband or a friend is telling her something different or something, but what would you say to this person? Is that a good excuse? Is that a...
There is so much in that question. The first thing I would ask is, what's your version of a good house, a clean house?
Right.
And so you can be on either end of the spectrum of this, and both are wrong. And so you can be on the side of never cleaning your house, and then you're in a place where you're dishonoring, I'm assuming your husband, because I'm assuming if you have time to play with them all day, he's most likely at work and he's paying for the house that you're living in. And so you're dishonoring him because he works all day and comes home to a messy house. So you're turning, you're putting your children above, really, honestly, your husband. Unless your husband doesn't care if you have a messy house. But then there's also the other spectrum, and I find myself falling on this other spectrum. And I'm constantly being told by my husband, you need to stop this. Which is, there is no fun until the house is clean. Right. And if you're in my situation, you have 5 kids and the house is never clean. Like, never. The laundry's never done. The dishes are never done. The toilets are never clean. It just doesn't happen. And so you have to, you need to be checking your heart on this and making sure that you're not being dishonoring either way. And so I can walk into the house and I can see every flaw in the house. But other people walk into my house and they see no flaws. So that tells me right there that I probably don't have a dishonoring house in a way, the way that I'm keeping my house. Does that make sense? And so that's when I need to stop and say, okay, we need to have fun. In fact, this summer, I actually had we sat down with the kids and we made a list. And each of the kids got to they gave me 5 things that they wanted to do this summer. And that list is on our refrigerator, and we're checking things off. So it doesn't mean that they don't have to make their beds. It doesn't mean that they don't have to unload the dishwasher and clean the bathrooms and vacuum. But what it does mean is that they understand that reality has to hit fun. And so when we teach our kids that, hey, now it's summer break, we have no responsibility, we don't need to worry about cleaning our house, let's just go have fun and make memories. Really what we're teaching our kids is you deserve this. You deserve a break. And I don't want to teach my kids that. I want to train them for life. In real life, they have to manage both. And so we only teach our kids to manage both if we model it in our home. And so you can make memories and you can have fun while teaching your children how, and I'm saying, because the context of the question was, how do I become a good housekeeper? Well, there's 6 of us that clean this house. And sometimes on a Saturday, there's 7 of us. If it's really bad, Joe helps. But for the most part, there's 5 kids and me. And it goes really fast. I always tell the kids, give me an hour. Give me an hour. I have a friend who always uses this motto, work hard so we can play hard. And that's what you want to teach your kids in life. You work hard so you can play hard. And nothing comes for free. So again, I don't know what end of the spectrum you're on. If you have a super duper messy house for real, then you need to take that to your husband and you need to ask him, is this dishonoring to you? Or maybe your house isn't as messy as you think it is. And you have a standard that's really too high for anyone to meet.
Right. So, and for me, I'm a neat freak. I like the house clean. It makes me feel comfortable when it's clean and everything's all put away and organized. But when I was raising my girls, I was way too far to the extreme of don't even touch anything after it was cleaned, And so I was counseled to keep my house the way that my husband wanted it. If he wanted a castle, it's his castle, so to speak. So if he wanted a pristine castle, then keep it that way. If he didn't, then I needed to tell myself, okay, I have to keep it the way he wants it, kind of like what you
Right.
said. And I'm here to tell you that that's just as hard as if I were a messy trying to keep
Right.
it clean, because I'm having to change who I am and what I want and what I think is best. I want control, right? And so basically that's what it comes down to. And so I just had to learn how to, how to find the balance and all of that. That's when Mitch encouraged me. I want you sitting down on the couch when I get home from work at 4 o'clock, because he used to get home at 5, a little bit after 5 every day. And he said, I want you sitting on the couch, and when I come in the door, you better be sitting there with your Bible, a book, a cup of tea or coffee, but you better be sitting there. And that was his mandate to me, because I was so freaked out about the house. And so he wanted a happy wife when he came home. He didn't want chaos. He wanted a happy wife. So I had to, with prayer and the Holy Spirit, I had to change who I was. And so, anyways, that's what I had to do. Now, for specifics, we are going to be addressing these issues in Women's Bible Study this year. This is some of the topics we're going to cover: having an organized life, an organized home, budgeting, meal planning, these kind of things, so that we don't go crazy and we can have fun. But I totally agree with what Jenny said. We're teaching our kids for real life.
Yeah.
And real life, there are responsibilities. I don't get to have a lot of fun all the time. You know, I mean, I have a job, I have a husband, I have a home, I have to work. And be honoring to your husband. It's up to him. But I'm really cautious in that too, because some husbands, like mine, he's really nice. And if I go to him and say, so, should I do this? And because I'm not doing it, he's not going to go, oh yeah, you big messy slop. He might just say, well, it's okay, but really, is it okay? So, I just think we need to be careful and not always ask the question, should I do what God's telling me to do? Because you should. So, pure worker at home. The Bible talks about in Titus and in 1 Timothy, there are instructions to women about how we're supposed to be at home, raising our kids, taking care of our home, especially if our husband works and we don't. Now, if you work outside the home, then there's room for adjustment. Your husband hopefully will help you and be kind to you. But if you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home woman, work. It's okay to work. You can get it done really fast. I've clocked myself. I know exactly how long it takes to clean my house.
Okay, so all right, so if people don't know, I'm a little OCD.
I'm very OCD.
Okay, so
and it's CDO,
CDO.
because that's in order. CDO.
Okay, so this is
I didn't
something.
even get the joke because I'm not OCD.
This is from the guy's this is from my perspective, and I'm a guy. But this is something that blindsided me in my marriage, because I had all the big things on my radar and stuff, but the little thing of just like housekeeping,
Yeah.
we never spent an in-depth thing on that. And I know it goes back to like philosophies of love and all that stuff. But this has been the biggest thing, controversy in our marriage, and because of my OCD, and my wife is not. She's just not. And
And that's
literally,
usually what happens.
yeah. And so like my kids, it just happened the other day, but all their shoes were like just thrown everywhere. I'm like, hey, come over here. Like, I'm so bad. I would literally like measure, like, okay, how far apart are the shoes, like that. So anyway, that doesn't always happen when you have a family. And God convicted me with this verse, and it's in 1 Timothy, but it kind of, it struck me, the Lord just kind of hit me with it, but it's the qualifications for a bishop, which is basically an elder. Episkopos is in the Greek, but it says this is a qualification if you want to be an overseer or a bishop. It says, this is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. Sorry, this is in the King James. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober-minded, of good behavior, and then it says given to hospitality. And in the Greek, philoxenos, or whatever you say that, it's fond of guests. And that's one thing, is that my wife had to pull me aside, and she's like, you are making people feel uncomfortable
That's
in
what
your
Mitch
house.
said to me.
No.
He did.
Yes, many times.
And part of it, I think, is because people are just messed up. And like, if I brought my kids over to your house,
Yeah.
we wouldn't just show up and have like a free-for-all and then bouncing off the couch and stuff like that. Like, there's a respect thing. That goes back to the parenting thing. We've been talking about that for 2 days. So, but, I mean, if you want to lead people to the Lord and have non-Christians over to your home and stuff, stuff's going to happen. And the thing that happened, the story I have with this is we were in a men's Bible study, and a guy who he just wasn't a believer and stuff. He was holding a Mountain Dew, and he just dumped the can all over the carpet. Okay? And so I was just watching, and it wasn't my house. And so I'm just watching him. He's like, oh, sorry. And he's one of those guys that I would just classify as just harder to love than, just that type of person. And so he's like, okay, it's fine, cleaned it up. And it was like 2 minutes later, he's holding the can, boom, and drops it again. And it's something the Lord just gave me this verse is like, listen, do you care more about your stuff than you do people?
Right.
And I think there's a balance into having a clean home and your husband and stuff, but also sometimes you just got to let it go and love people, including your family and other people that are coming over to your house. So that's
I remember literally being very excited when I felt like I didn't have to fold the underwear anymore. I could just throw them in the drawer. I was so excited. I told all my friends, guess what? And I, to this day, still do it. I mean, that was a milestone for me because that's not how you do it.
I mean, I can actually hear Joe cheering through the microphone here, through the screen, because I am I don't want to have people over until everything's perfect. And that's a great verse.
It is a great verse.
You've got to love people more than your clean floor.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are you good on the?
I think so. Do we answer it for
cleaning
you?
your house?
I mean, yeah.
I think so.
I think so.